Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw aboard Avalon's Artistry 2 here in Bordeaux. And this is actually the first Bordeaux cruise that Avalon is offering this year and in the future as well. I'm with Gail Walter, who's the cruise director on board, and she had a hand in developing this really new itinerary for Avalon. And we're going to talk about and what we've done. We've actually are at the very end of this a shorter version of this itinerary, and we're going to talk about all the things you can do here in Bordeaux and on the rivers. And of course, well, yeah, drinking wine is probably one of them, but we're going to talk about that and more of the Insider Travel Report. First of all, great to see you. Great to meet you.
Thank you, and to meet you too, Jane.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about your background. How long have you been a cruise director?
So I started with Avalon in 2018, but before that I was with the Globus family of brands as a tour director.
Oh, so you came over from the land side.
I did.
Yeah, and you are, you haven't caught the accent. You are from Scotland, right?
Yes, I am, from the bonny banks of Loch Lomond.
Oh, well, that's a pretty good body of water, too, to be honest. Now, how long, and what other rivers have you been cruise director on?
So most of my time in the last 7 years, James, has been spent on the French rivers, so the Rhone and the Seine, but more recently in Portugal and Nigeria.
And I missed that last year, but that was the new cruise for Avalon last year, right?
Yeah, and an exciting itinerary, very beautiful rivers, and a very good experience.
And so here we are now on Bordeaux, and really this was the launch cruise, and you're going to start doing revenue cruises, I think, tomorrow by now.
We are. First cruise starts in the morning.
Let's talk a little bit about how you've orchestrated these experiences on the Bordeaux, because I know you've had a hand in doing this. I think. So what is the itinerary, right? You round trip Bordeaux, right?
That's right. So we concentrate on the three rivers.
That's one of the things I want to think. It's not just Bordeaux, which is really an estuary. There are two other rivers involved in this, right?
That's right. So we've got the Garonne, and we've also got the Dordogne, and we've got the Gironde.
So I think that people don't understand that, because I know when I was down here, I just cruised this little estuary here in Bordeaux, which actually some of the bigger ships can come up too. You can go on a cruise to Bordeaux, but you know what? This cruise takes you inland. You're all this incredible region of Bordeaux. So where do you go next after the first stop? And where do we go next? I think we didn't do all the ports,
no,
but we did a good sampling of them, right?
We did, but our first port of call is a tiny little town called Cabidan. And again, that is very much dependent on the tide as to whether we can get there, because at different times of the year it's difficult to get there because of spring and autumn tides. So,
well, that's what I found out about this river, is that it rises and lowers quite a lot. You can get stuck if you don't look at it. Yeah.
Well, the biggest thing is you can't get out of Bordeaux because there's a bridge called Pont de Pierre Bridge, which if we have, problems with the tides, the water's too high and we can't get under the bridge. So that
can be a problem, yeah. So the first destination that we went to was what?
So on our particular cruise, the first destination we went to was Cape Ledoc.
Right.
Yep. Which is a beautiful little town on the Gironde estuary. It's essentially an old fortification from the 17th, 18th century, and we concentrated on a walking tour there, heard about the architecture, the sort of military presence there. And then we had some local delicacies that we tasted at the filler, which was great. We brought in the local suppliers and tested oysters and local wines, honey, and patisserie.
Not too bad. I thought. And you also had a tour that you went off to, I think it's a combination of a wine tasting and chocolate, right?
We did. We went to a lovely vineyard, and we support our local chocolate maker as well. So we struck up a relationship there with local suppliers. And so on that particular excursion, we're going to a small vineyard, and I know we took the shop to do some things.
That wasn't a bad start, I got to tell you. We had a great time. And then what's the next destination?
So after that, we sail across the estuary, and it doesn't take us long at all. And we're going to a different area producing wines. It's Bourg and Bly. So Bly is the head of a mighty citadel, one of seven in the area, and it's very impressive. So we do a drive, takes us along the Corniche as the coastal drive. And then finishes with a walking tour of the citadel. That's one choice.
Okay.
So the other choice would be, again, interacting with the local people, where we visit a local wine producer who's married, a very, very interesting.
This is the one I missed. I have to come back for, but it sounded wonderful. And then you got to teach at the house.
We did. Well, she's a very accomplished artist, so they've mixed their passion with wine and art, and we've taken the opportunity to show our guests the both sides of their business, and again, they're such characters, and they have made such an impact in the town. So it's a really lovely experience for our guests.
And then we discovered some of our people here. Both the travel agents and the journalists on board had some, hidden artistic talent.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. In fact, all that artistic talent was brought back onto the ship for display.
I know. I was downstairs. It was laying on a bed downstairs, and they brought it up because it was still drying. By the way,
I think it still is drying. It's been about 4 days ago.
So then we had a wonderful time there. So the next one, though, was actually, I think, one of the highlights. I was, and this is the one where you end up going to Saint-Emilion, which is really the heart of the Bordeaux wine country, right?
Yeah. Well, it's one that everybody's heard of, isn't it? In itself, Saint-Emilion is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So even if you didn't like wine, you're going to love Saint-Emilion.
Yeah, it's a beautiful medieval town. I did a biking trip, and incredible, and just happened to be there was a marathon going on at the same day, which we were worried it might disrupt it, but actually it was pretty good. We didn't have that many problems, so we end up in this wonderful old church in the center of San Marino, and there was a service going on. I have to listen to some of the music and then walk around. There was a 3-star Michelin restaurant that I said, Tick, I got to go back to there. I really like that. And then some wonderful views looking over the vineyards.
Yeah, no, it's a very special place. And we try to offer as much as we possibly can. I mean, our guests want to go there, but guests don't want to go. And we also have an alternative to Saint-Emilion. They can stay in port and visit a gorgeous little town where we're docked, which is called Libourne.
That's Libourne, yeah, which is really also well known.
And, on this particular occasion, there was a Sunday market going on, which it rivals anything I'd seen or something.
We biked past it, and I said, why are we stopping? I mean, there's food I can buy. It's really wonderful, wonderful market.
Yeah.
And that was special. But we kept going on to Saint-Emilion, and then, of course, the end of our biking tour we visited a very modern winery, chateau, which I found it fascinating. And we had a wine tasting. Now, we didn't bike back, just to be clear. You're careful about that. You're not going to have, but I just thought it was a great visit.
Yeah. No, it's very special. I mean, the vineyards in Saint-Emilion are very small, very personalized. And funny, they're also different, so diverse, and some very modern. Some of them are just come on and pop type. Well,
they're all called chateau. And the size of the chateau and whether there were actually nobility there is another story. But they look wonderful, and we passed some of the classic Chateau Margaux. Everyone knows it. I don't think they do tours, so we actually just looked outside. Yeah. Then we proceeded out on the rest of our biking trip. So that was great.
Yeah. So the vineyards you were talking about are in another area, which is the Medoc, which is an entirely different experience. It's around Fort Medoc where we were, and we offer a classic panoramic drive, taking in all the 3 Grand Cru Classés out of the 5 that are on the Medoc area. And then we finish at a wonderful vineyard where we do some great tastings. Or we do the chocolate and wine.
The chocolate and wine. Yep.
It's all really.
Well, as I was saying to Pam Hoffey, the president, and I said, this really, by definition, is a wine cruise, but you don't have to do wine. It's such a wonderful area, and there are other things that you offer as well, right?
Yeah, that's right. We're really trying to work with the local producers, the local people here, small suppliers, and really it's to give the alternative. It's not just about wine, it's about different experiences in this area. I mean, it's just to interact with the local community, which we've really tried to.
And we did. We actually did that. We had some marvelous times there. And then, of course, that was kind of what we did. And I think you have other destinations on the 7 day, right?
Oh, we do. We have a much more comprehensive itinerary for 7 days. When we leave the Livourne area and we sail back to Bordeaux, we then can take our guests out to the coast and we go oyster tasting.
Well, you did that today.
Yeah.
In fact, I was thinking about doing it. It was a whole day long, but when you take them out to the coast, you go oysters and a lot of them, which I haven't talked to our team is out. Some of them have gone on that trip. I did another biking trip in the morning, and it was perfectly marvelous because I realized I just haven't seen that much of Bordeaux, the city of Bordeaux, which is marvelous.
It's got so much to offer, and a lot of the guests are telling me, they feel safe here. Sometimes if you're in a big city like Paris or Lyon, for example, it's a little bit more daunting for guests. But here in Bordeaux, it's an absolute gem. Everything's on your doorstep. You can walk practically everywhere. Or take the tram, which is so
the tram. We did that today on the little tram, and it's very easy. And then as you walk along the riverbank here, you have these incredibly beautiful, 18th century buildings all along, and then you can walk into the town. And that's what I did the biking tour, of course, but it just is such a lovely town.
No, it's got a lot to offer. It's very sophisticated as well as cozy. It's got everything. It's got wonderful restaurants and wine bars. It's affordable. It's got a great shopping street for anybody interested.
I know we passed by that. Luckily, we biked right through, but that was another. Nobody stopped.
Yeah.
And then we went to the center of the town, and it was really great. And I learned also that this town was kind of the model for Paris.
Yeah.
Before Paris became all these beautiful boulevards, and that's what this town has. Right?
That's right. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. A lot of Parisians come here to live, they commute.
I heard that a lot. I heard that. I've already identified my vacation home on the river. So that's they also come here and have their vacation homes right there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So now, of course, in the afternoon, the last thing we just did was to go to the they call it's the Museum of Wine. They call it the Cité du Vin.
That's right. Which again is a really interactive experience. And a great introduction to the city. It's one of the top museums, like top 7 over the years. It's really...
It was only built like 2016, right?
Yeah, it's a fantastic modern building, very experiential, and you top it all off with just glass of wine on the top.
On the very top with beautiful views of Bordeaux, and that's what I did. I mean, I was in there for quite some time listening to all the interactive stuff and the theaters, the movies, and learning all about how to make wine, all the different wine regions. And it's not just Bordeaux, it's wine throughout the world.
That's right. And they give credit to every single wine producing area of the world with fantastic audio-visual representation. And it's well worth it. It's a great.
Now, what do you would like to see guests come away with after this river cruise? What do you think their takeaways have been?
Pleasantly surprised, because Bordeaux is not on everybody's radar. Everybody's going to Paris, they're going to the south of France. But what you in the southwest of France is really special. And it's another tick in the box. What I would like people to feel is that they've had that great experience of a different region of France, which isn't on everybody's radar.
But should be, and it's obviously on everybody's tongue. tasting at least.
Yeah.
Because everyone knows Bordeaux wine, and this is really the heart of it. But it's a marvelous destination. And if we're sitting here in the front of the ship, and we're looking down a beautiful sun down the riverbank, and everybody's running and they're biking, and then we're looking at beautiful buildings on the whole way. What's wrong with that?
No, it's a perfect setting to start your cruise in Bordeaux, to finish your cruise in Bordeaux, and really just to have the atmosphere of the city. I mean, to enjoy a city that's just very comfortable.
Yeah, I said, well, yeah, I want to thank you for taking the time. I know you're really busy. You're working on our departures. Do you have to do that?
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Well, who said I had to leave? But no, she is going to get. You got to get back to work now and do that. But you actually came with us on the musée, which was fun, and you got to experience.
Yeah, no, I wanted to because again, I rarely get the opportunity to leave the show, but when I can mix with our dance and I took it up and
Well,
just to see the excitement of it.
Well, it is, and it's wonderful, and but we have to get you on biking one of these.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Again, thank you so much. And we're looking forward to next time on the rivers of Europe, or certainly the rivers in Bordeaux.
Thank you so much. And please come to Bordeaux.
I will. I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.